I had a request on how to assemble patterns. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to assemble a Samantha Marie Designs pattern. Now this is a digital pattern, which means you purchase it online and they send you a link to the download. These are very common in handmade clothing, so I hope this helps you out. This is a Samantha Marie Designs pattern, the River Romper. Most patterns are going to have numbers on each individual page, and they'll usually have a page in their instructions that shows you what it looks like when you lay it all out. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just laying out all my pieces of paper before I start assembling it. So I went ahead and did pages 1, 2, 5, and 6 so I could show you. So each of these pages is going to have a half circle on them. And when you line these up correctly, it should form a full circle among the 4 pattern piece pages. And there's also going to be a circle on the other side of your paper, so you just line up all these circles with each other. For example, on these 2 pages, so that you don't have to lay these on top of each other like this and look through the paper to see if you're lined up, instead, what you can do is just cut off one of these sides. So we would just cut off this page right here at this line. Okay, so here's an example. I'm going to put together this part of the pattern. This piece is just going straight down, so it's a little bit easier. So I have my page 7 that needs to be connected to my page 3. So I'm going to take my page 7 and I am going to cut off this line at the very top of the piece of paper, right above that dotted line. So after you have that piece of paper cut, now you can lay this directly on top of your other page and your circles will line up pretty perfectly. So now you can either tape or glue this down onto this other page. I prefer to use glue, but I couldn't find it for this video, so unfortunately I had to use tape. But if you use a glue stick, it's a lot easier to go back and fix your mistakes. Whereas tape, if you pull that up, you're going to rip the piece of paper. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing with my last piece of paper down here. I'm going to cut off just the top of this piece. I am leaving the bottom of the other page there because obviously I need somewhere to glue or tape it to. So you don't cut off the lines on every pattern piece, and that's why it's better to lay out your pattern all flat so that you can see where everything goes first. Okay, so now here we have 4 pieces of paper in the pattern piece. We have it going horizontally and vertically. Okay, so I have all my pieces laid together. That way I can see which pieces of paper I'm going to cut. So on page 21, I'm only going to cut off this side piece so that I can lay that on top of page 22. After I cut that, I'm going to go ahead and lay it down, but I have not glued or taped it yet. So now I'm going to take another piece of paper, and for these both bottom pieces, I'm going to cut off the top because I'm going to glue or tape those down to the bottom of page 21 and 22. After I cut that page 26, I lay it down on 22, and now I need to finish my page 25. So on this one, I'm going to have to cut off the top and the side so that it will lay both on page 21 and 26. Once you have all those pages cut out, now you can go ahead and either tape or glue these down. But remember that you have 4 pieces of paper, so you need to make sure that your circle is going to line up on both corners of your pattern before you tape or glue it down. I was done with the tape, so I went and found a glue stick, and as you can see, this is 1,000 times easier. It's way faster, so trust me, use a glue stick. Now every pattern is going to be different. Some pattern pages have trimless pages, which means you don't have to cut or glue anything and they just have lines on the page. But in my experience, most patterns that I use do have some sort of circle or shape on the pattern corners that you have to line up. So just be sure to read your instructions before you assemble.